Hi, everyone. I'm Kat Fuller, Certified Health Coach, and I'm super excited about our training today. This is one of those topics that I, as the teacher, probably will learn way more than I'm going to teach you guys, but it's really a valuable skill in our world of health coaching. So today we're going to talk about emotional intelligence. And, oh, sorry, I skipped. I'm going to start with this little video.
Forget intelligence quotients is all about the emotional intelligence. Hey everyone, Lacey Green here for the news. You've probably heard of IQ or intelligence quotient. If you haven't, you clearly haven't single episode of D News, for shame. But hey, have you heard of EQ, also known as EI, which stands for emotional intelligence? It's a measure of how well we identify, control, and understand our own and other people's emotions. Multiple studies have found that when it comes to being happy and successful in your career and relationships, emotional intelligence is actually more important than your IQ. I mean, think about it. It's the extent of your street smarts, your ability to interact with others and understand yourself that gets you through your day-to-day life. Book smarts are great and all, but it's not going to do much for you if you're terribly out of touch. Only the rare evil genius can succeed this way. The good news is that suggests that emotional intelligence is something that anyone can learn and improve upon if they really dedicate themselves to it. So, woo science. So what makes a person emotionally intelligent? There are 5 categories of EQ. The first is self-awareness. Basically, I'm here and I understand my own brain. Sort of. Self-aware people recognize their own emotions and how they affect themselves and others. You might notice, hey, I'm being kind of a jerk today, and then figure out why. The second category is self-regulation. Now that you know why you're being a jerk, you can handle it effectively. Angry outbursts and internet flame wars would be an example of poor self-regulation/social skills, which is the third category. You might walk the walk, but can you talk the talk? Social skills include the ability to communicate effectively what you want, what you need, to build strong relationships with others, and to be a team player. The fourth category is motivation. You get knocked down, and you get up again, because they're never going to keep you down. You're the kind of lady or man who presses on and stays positive. The last category is empathy, and this one is considered the most important for career success. Empathetic people want to understand others and how they feel about things. This helps a person to provide excellent service or to understand what people around them need to do and do their best. So all this means that people with high EQs tend to fall into certain patterns. They're often great leaders. They know how to pay attention and read the needs of their team members. They know their own strengths and weaknesses and are in touch with their own emotions because they're highly self-aware. Those with a high EQ also tend to want to do good. They don't want to be the type of person that makes you face palm at humanity. Because they're able to focus outward and not be completely distracted by their own head junk, they're a bit more mindful about what's going on around them and what others are experiencing. So, how emotionally intelligent are you? Tell me about.
All right, so that was a lot. And she talks like on 1.5 speed, I swear. But it was a lot. What is emotional intelligence? It's the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions, and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. Probably didn't even count any more of that, what we just watched, so fast. But I love how quick and succinct she put it. Emotional intelligence is the key to both personal and professional success. We know about IQ, and it's still recognized as an important element of success, especially with academic achievement. People with high IQs do better in school. They often earn more money and tend to be healthier in general. I thought that was an interesting statistic. But experts today recognize it's not only the only determinant of life success, and it's just a part of a complex array of influences that include emotional intelligence, among other things. I even saw one study that said IQ is responsible for only 10% of your success. So the concept of emotional intelligence has had a strong impact in a lot of areas, especially the business world. Some companies actually issue EQ tests as part of their hiring process, and research has found that the individuals with a strong leadership potential also tend to be more emotionally intelligent, suggesting that an IQ is an important quality for business leaders and managers to have. So, what are some signs of a high EQ? The first is you're curious about people you don't know. And we have a lot of this in our business. So I love this. Do you love meeting new people? And do you naturally tend to ask a lot of questions after you've been introduced to somebody? If so, you have a certain degree of empathy, which we'll talk about later. But one of the main components, which is one of the main components of emotional intelligence. Do you know your own strengths and weaknesses? A big part of having self-awareness is being honest with yourself about who you are. Knowing where you excel, where you struggle, accepting these things about yourself. An emotionally intelligent person learns to identify their areas of strengths and weaknesses and analyze how to work within this framework. Do you know how to pay attention? Do you get distracted by every tweet or text or Facebook ding that happens in your life? If so, it could be keeping you from functioning in your most emotionally intelligent level. When you're upset, do you know why? I love this one. This one's the one that helped me the most, because there's sometimes in life when you just feel like, I don't know why I'm so upset today. But when we're emotionally intelligent, we all experience a number of emotional fluctuations throughout the day. And sometimes we don't understand what's causing a wave of anger or sadness. But an important part of self-awareness is the ability to recognize where your emotions are coming from and know why you feel upset. So that's something I'm working on. You've always been self-motivated. This is a big sign of an emotional EQ. If you fall down, you get back up. Were you always ambitious and hardworking as a kid, even if you weren't rewarded for it? If you're a motivated self-starter and you can focus your attention and energy toward the pursuit of your goals, then you likely have a high EQ. Do you have a low EQ? I'm showing another video.
Michael, hey, Toby. Hey, you know what? I have an idea. Why don't you leave right now? Why don't you walk away from the room, okay?
Didn't you lose a lot of money on that other investment, that one for the email?
Toby, when the son of the deposed king of Nigeria emails you directly asking for help, you help. His father ran the freaking country, okay? Oh. Can I just say that of all the idiots, in all the idiot villages, in all the idiot worlds, you stand alone, my friend. That I don't even know is in there because there are a lot of presents in my car and I don't know which is which.
Suck on this. Should I keep going? Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
And if I had a gun with 2 bullets and I was in a room with Hitler, Bin Laden, and Toby, I would shoot Toby twice.
Michael is the epitome of poor EQ. I thought that would be fun to show you a really bad example. But don't worry, we can improve. If you looked at the last 6 signs of being high emotionally intelligent and you went, whoa, I am not that great. I did. I looked at that list and kind of went, I don't really always know when I'm upset. We can get better. And that's the good news about emotional intelligence. Every aspect is improvable. So the first is self-awareness. We'll go through each of these. The second, self-regulation, social skills, motivation, and empathy. So the first, according to Dr. Travis Bradbury, who wrote Emotional Intelligence 2.0, I had it down here. It's not down here anymore. This is a great book. Strong recommendation from me. I'm in the middle of it, actually, and it's a great book. So Dr. Travis Bradbury says, those who are the most self-aware are the most emotionally intelligent. And he says this is all from him. This is the biggest thing we can improve in our emotional intelligence is our self-awareness. So to increase our awareness, we need to lean into the things that discomfort us a little bit. So if you don't like getting on the phone, then lean into it. Get on the phone. If you don't feel comfortable bringing up what you do to people, then lean into it and try it. Look for times in your day that your emotions get the better of you. I used to call it the witching hour when I was stay-at-home mom, and John would come home about 6:30, between 6 and 9, depending on the night. He would come home from work. And from the time the kids got home from school until dinner time was the witching hour. And I never had control of my emotions during that time. And that was when I saw this, looking for times that your emotions get the better of you, knowing that going into that day, like 3 to 6 is a really hard time for me. What am I going to do to combat that? How am I going to change things enough in my brain so that I don't lose control emotionally. So I love that step. Another one is when you recognize your emotions and practice a different response, you can actually change your brain. So as you increase the traffic between your limbic system, we just learned about this yesterday in Amber's webinar. So as we increase the traffic between your limbic system, which is where your emotions are created, and the prefrontal cortex, which is where your rational thinking is, then you increase the ability to rationally respond to your emotions, and you physically change your brain. So find something to practice differently and do it over and over and over until it's changed, and then it won't be an issue anymore. So I love that. Another thing to improve your self-awareness is to take a test. If you just Google emotional intelligence tests, there's a ton of them. And just the act of taking the test improves your self-awareness. It doesn't matter the answers you get. I mean, you can work on that stuff later, but just the act of taking the test, Dr. Bradbury says, just the act of taking it increases your awareness. And then another one is to ask people for feedback. In our business, we are so blessed to have awesome mentors. And I love this step, asking people around you, asking your spouse, asking even your kids, am I handling it better when dad's not home and you guys are here? Do you guys think mom's doing better at not yelling at you so much? Just asking people around you who care about you for their honest feedback. Self-regulation. So this is a fantastic one for us as health coaches. Self-regulation is one of the 5 components, and it means being able to discipline ourselves and avoid unhealthy habits. So hopefully we're doing this ourselves as we teach other people to do it. Emotionally intelligent people are well equipped to tolerate stress, which is a trigger for a lot of us with our eating. So if we can work on our self-regulation, which goes together with awareness and the practicing over and over again, then we can improve our emotional intelligence. Another one is social skills. And I want to briefly, before I bring up this chart I found, they're also the basics I want to mention about social skills. When you're speaking to someone, look them in the eyes. Don't look down and be shifty. Don't be on your phone talking, paying attention. It's just basic social skills that sometimes we don't really notice that we're not being socially kind. Have a firm handshake. I hate when I get a dead fish handshake, and we do a lot of work on our phones. So have a confident voice. Practice having a confident voice. And just basic social skills. Asking people questions. Being genuinely concerned. We'll talk more about that with empathy. But I found this little chart about social skills. And this is the most important social skills for entrepreneurs. This is what was there was a study done on that, and I couldn't find the specific study, and so I can't prove it, but there you go. But these were the steps that these people found. Was that social perception is the ability to accurately perceive others, traits, intentions, motives, strengths. I want to add impression management. Involves techniques for inducing positive reactions in others. We as health coaches do this all the time. When we help people open their worlds to taking control of their own lives by asking questions, and what do you think you could do? How do you think you could help this client? How do you think, if it's a client, how do you think you could take control of your health if they're struggling with something specifically? Giving them that power is a way of inducing positive reactions in people. Persuasiveness is another one, and that is the ability to change people's views and behavior. And we do that all the time too. We deal with objections that people have, and we talk about a lot of things with our clients and with our coaches that we can be persuasive about. And it's not about getting something the way you want. It's not about getting what you want, but it's about opening up the world to have people have an opportunity of seeing something a different way. And social adaptability is the ability to adapt and feel comfortable in a wide range of situations. And I love this because that's what we do. I went to a Women in Business Symposium with Amber. Dawn was there too. And I walked in like, I'm gonna know like 3 people here, but it's fun to meet new people. So I loved it and I had a blast. And I actually ran into one of my old college friends. So having the ability to just be like, hey, I don't know how this is gonna be, but I'm gonna make the best of it. I think that's a great way of having with social skills. And then social expressiveness. And this is expressing your emotions and feelings clearly to generate enthusiasm in others. If we're always down on ourselves and I have such a hard life and whatever, our clients are going to feel it. Our friends, our family, everyone's going to be they're going to think you're a downer. And I love that expressing your emotions clearly, it doesn't mean you have to be happy all the time. You can say you're frustrated and still generate positive enthusiasm with people. And at that, so I think that's a really, I like this chart. It helped me with recognizing some social skills as health coaches. Another one is motivation. So how you deal with mistakes and setbacks says a lot about who you are. High emotionally intelligent individuals know that if there's one thing we must all do in life, it's keep going. So if we get knocked down and we have a rough day or a rough week or a rough month, then we get back up. And that makes us more emotionally intelligent. Barbara Fredrickson, she's a positivity author. She wrote this: the resilient person isn't papering over the negative emotions, but instead letting them sit side by side with other feelings. So at the same time they're feeling, I'm sad about that, they're also prone to thinking, but I'm grateful about this. And I think about all the struggles and trials that I've had in my life, and I'm grateful for them because it's made me who I am and it's taught me to get back up. John and I went through some crazy financial stuff a few years ago, and we were the whole time going, why us? Why us? Why are we doing this? Why is this our lot in life? And I know that those lessons I learned are what helped me get going every day. And I'm grateful for that. So our motivation is important. And the last thing I want to talk about, actually I wanted to say one more thing about motivation. It's when an emotionally intelligent person experiences a setback, they're able to bounce back quickly, relatively quickly. And that's in part because they're able to mindfully experience negative emotions without letting them get out of control. So when Barbara Fredrickson said that she lets negative emotions and positive emotions be side by side, that's power right there. That it's okay to have negative and positive at the same time. Just don't let them get out of control. And that provides a higher degree of resilience. So empathy is the last thing. We spend a lot of time talking about empathy in our business. And Amber and Jared and a few others of us were in Oregon at the beginning of September. And wouldn't you say our entire training was basically empathy? John, wouldn't you say that? It really, we talked about empathy basically the whole weekend, and identifying with and understanding another's situation, feelings, and motives. So one of the greatest gifts that we can give another human being is to feel understood. So we need to learn to listen, to understand, and not to respond. And Dave Blanchard, the CEO of the Augmendino Group, talked to us in Oregon, and he talked to us about creating a safe place, asking a lot of questions. And when you're talking to someone, genuinely listen to understand. Don't be thinking about the next question you're going to ask them or what question you should ask, but that question will come if you're genuinely listening. So we can create a safe place for people to share their personal stuff with us. The thing we do is, all the things we do with health coaching is so personal and close to people's hearts that it affects every part of their life. And I think we need to honor that people are sharing personal things with us and genuinely try to understand them. So another part of empathy is caring about people. Know their names. Know your coaches. If they tell you stories about your family, try to remember. Know their likes, challenges, dislikes. Are you invested in people because they are investing in you? Be willing to stand on someone's path and see what they see, and be authentic. That's really just be you, because the best you is better than anybody trying to be something else. And the last thing is everything that from Einstein, everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. So I hope all of this isn't too much. For me, I was like, oh, emotional intelligence is something I get to work on for the rest of my life. And I'm grateful for that. But we want to keep it relatively simple and just be who we are. So I think we're out of time.